Good evening, everybody. We got here another Age of Empires 2 1v1 on Arabia. And this one's a special game because I want to really dig into one of the players here who's playing as the Burgundians. These two players being such top tier players, Vivi and TheViper. And we do have one player, Vivi, playing as the Burgundians, and he is playing against a classic civilization of the Berbers. So one thing to note, the Berbers are a great counter civilization to any knight civ. And obviously the Burgundians are knights. There we go. The two of them talking about top 8, top 16. You know how it goes. These two guys are good friends. They will trash talk a little bit between the two of them, but overall they will get along quite a bit. As we can see, look at them. Pushing each other, pushing the zebras in while typing out. Insanity. But let's get right into it. So we do have Vivi. He is the one playing for the Burgundians. We do see quite a nice little front wood line protecting him. Bit of walling to the sides, but overall, that could be very, very good. I think overall he has an easier wall potential. The Viper, who is playing as the Berbers, he can wall the sides off quite easily, but the front is just a little bit more open, but a couple houses and a barracks will close that off very, very close. And the two of them just scouting around and taking a look.
Bonjour.
Seeing exactly what's going on with their maps. Seeing if there's all the goats that they have. Probably at this point Viper was thinking that his goats had been stolen. But not the case right now. So I will speed it up a little bit. And you see they're talking about other games that they're also top players in. Of course, Age of Empires 2, the Viper's been king for so long, but these two players do play quite a few different games, and it does make quite a difference. And so just pushing in zebras, starting a little bit of a wall off is the Viper, actually going a little bit further out than I would have expected with this wall off. He will definitely want to be collecting this stone, so he wants to have a very safe base right off the bat, as he does see exactly where Vivi is. And you see, all of a sudden, they are still trash talking each other, but the Viper almost fully walled already, really dedicating quite a bit, more than I would have expected for him. And good thing, because we do see a fast feudal age for Vivi. The Burgundians being one of these civilizations that has been noted to be, well, by a lot of people, overpowered. A bit too powerful for the current meta, but a little bit of a mistake collecting that goat outside of the town center, but we'll be okay. But we'll see exactly how the meta changes with the Burgundians and Sicilians coming into play. We do see a stable coming out right off the bat for the Burgundian player, but what he's going to run into is a almost fully walled Viper. Now these walls are still quite a ways away, but he is collecting stone, and I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw the Viper go for stone walls. But that is likely not the case. 2 scouts here, but with that many villagers on, it will be tough for the third to get any damage. And really at this point, the Viper will be sending his scout to help out the villagers. Vivi might be able to get a Vil pick right here. And there we go. The Viper loses a villager, and will he lose a second? It is unlikely right now. That scout will go down for Vivi, and the Viper is now in the feudal age. And as you can see, one less villager because of it, but he is going fast castle. And if you take a look, fast castle into a fast castle. And good thing that Viper did wall off just so early, because it has completely stalled the attack of Vivi, and now Vivi having to have second thoughts about his scout rush, as his third scout, or second one that he made, is already fairly useless at this point in time. The good thing about Vivi being the aggressor, as you can see, no need to wall off when you know that you're the aggressor. He does probably think that the Viper stole those goats, though. I know that that's what I would be thinking for sure. You can see he has run quite a ways around, but he hasn't quite made it this far out. Surprising, that is not too far away from the town center. And just out of sight. Now Vivi trying to be a little bit irritating, attacking the palisades where he can, and just causing some distractions here and there. The Viper, though, halfway up to the next age, and once he gets there, he will likely be dropping a castle right away. We'll just have to see where exactly he decides to drop it. A defensive castle right here would be very good to solidify this stone and gold placement. However, we could even see something a little bit more aggressive now that he's going forward with his scout, checking out what exactly Vivi's base looks like, where are his buildings, and what he is doing. And here we go. He's seeing exactly where Vivi is, not allowing Vivi to get that big advantage of the Burgundians that we've so far come to fear. And there we go, the castle being a pretty safe placement back here, keeping a couple of villagers on stone, and building a university right off the bat. Vivi has now clicked up to the next age, so he will be a little bit behind. His scout will make it in, see this castle, and will immediately know there's going to be a large army coming towards him pretty quickly. Tries to get a quick pick off with the farm, but unable to do it fast enough to take away that 60 wood. But he does get that villager that he wanted to get earlier. Great play by Vivi to remember that, click around, see that the villager wasn't on the farms, and go over there. Of course, we'll get a couple more shots with his scout, just weakening the villagers at this point in time, probably not looking to do too much damage, especially with this other scout in the mix. It's that scout of the Viper will only be able to take a couple more shots before it goes down. And Vivi causing lots of delays so far, and really just forcing Viper to show his hand, and that hand is Camel Archers. Camel Archers, very strong unit en masse. Don't see them too often. They're not quite as popular as, say, something like a Mangadai or something like that. But still a very powerful unit that can cause a lot of damage. And Vivi looking to go for an eco approach. 3 TCs right off the bat, as we see the second TC only going up right now for the Viper. This scout got quite a bit of value, did waste the time of those Camel Archers, wasted the time enough that these town centers will not be denied too. If 3 Camel Archers were sitting right here right now, that would be causing quite a few issues for Vivi in the back of his base. Or I suppose the front of his base now. And we do see a little bit of a mass. Nothing too crazy for defense as of yet for Vivi. He does know what's coming towards him, and he is choosing the eco approach. Let's see if that pays off, as he has already built a castle in the back of his base. I'm not sure how I feel about the back of his base. And here we have the Coustilliers coming forward. This unit being able to charge up, something that we haven't seen before in Age of Empires, and is a different note as what we're used to. 5 of these Camel archers will be able to push back quite a bit. As you see, upgrades have already started to come in for these Camel archers, so they are starting to get beefier and beefier. As we see a plus 35 initial attack. That is insanity right there. That first hit is just so powerful from these units. And as you can see, I mean, 35 base hit, that's 2 hits. 1 hit with the 8 plus 35 to take out a villager. Not many units, actually no units, have that kind of attack. And here they are running forward. Let's see exactly how much damage they do. Look at how quickly those Camel archers go down. Only 55 HP. This is insanity with these units. Being able to charge, run up, and as he's chasing him down, they are charging more. But we do see quite a few, and I don't think he can engage underneath this castle as of yet. Bit of a mistake there, losing one to the Camel fire. And just looking at this right now, against any units but cavalry archers, these would be dominating. Think of these versus Paladin. First shot, 43 HP gone, just like that. That is crazy. We do have a siege workshop coming up in defense for Vivi. And the Viper still just on the 2 TCs, deciding to go for a heavier military push. As he's going forward, he is going to build another castle forward. And let's see what Vivi has to respond with. As he is breaking through. Does make it. He's in the back of the Viper's base. The Viper having to run back with his entire army. As he is losing villagers. And he already has a few less villagers. That is 11 less villagers than Vivi. And he is losing more and more and more. As he's walling in, these will get cleaned up. And this town center, or this castle, will definitely be going up. But it will be damaged quite a bit. If these units were just a little bit faster, this castle would have definitely gotten destroyed. And Vivi choosing to engage, distracting as much as possible the main force of the Viper, because once these Camel archers come back, they will clean up the army that is fighting underneath the castle. And Vivi smartly just running away, trying to keep these villagers alive as much as possible. This third town center no longer useful. He is having to build another third town center because the third one that he built initially will get destroyed from this castle. And Viper going forward, taking some of the gold of Vivi. And the town center just deleted from Vivi, not needed anymore. So, at this point in time, what do you do if you are Vivi? You are on 4 town centers. You know you're out booming him. There's no way the Viper has bigger boom than you right now. But what do you do against this many Camel archers? That is 16 Camel archers sitting right on your face, and you do not have any defense. Militarily, Vivi only at 7. And the Viper dropping a 3rd castle. Maybe this is the way you play against the new Burgundians. You go anti-cavalry, you go heavy defense, take out these units before they can cause the damage that you know that they can do. And there's nothing Vivi can do other than build his own castle way in the back of his base, and he's going to have to move more of his economy away. Sending more of his Coustilliers over. Does have nearly a 20 villager lead. Viper on 2 town centers. Vivi on 4. 2 castles for Vivi. 3 for the Viper. Both of them making exclusively castle units. But take a look up here. 900, 1,000 food, 700, 800 gold, and there we go. Already Viper clicking up to the Imperial Age with a big army. He has 20 military right now versus the 10 of Vivi, and Vivi obviously having to run away with this little army that he's got, try and take out as much as he can. Vivi must know that Viper wants to take out this army after he hits the Imperial Age. And as we see, these castles didn't produce much for the couple of minutes leading up to the Castle Age, but now producing heavily. And the Viper taking out the second TC, probably thinking in the back of his mind, you know what, I have the eco lead now, but Vivi already had his other town centers up, and now has enough army to engage against these camels. With the charge up, that is so strong, and these camels dropping like flies. See if they might stop, pick off a couple of villagers, we will see. Unlikely at this point in time. The focus for Viper is save your military until you hit the next age. Sit underneath your castles, treb the entire economy of Vivi down. But there's no way that Viper can engage against this main army of Vivi. These palisades just melt, but behind it, houses are going up. Unable to get into the base of Viper as of yet. He would be able to go to the north, but likely would be quick walled behind. And Viper now in the next age. Vivi, this is his chance. He needs to take a good engagement, use his 30 villager lead to get some sort of military lead, because with 2 trebuchets coming out, bracer coming out, there is not too much that he can do to engage against the army of Viper. He does have a little TC down here in the southeast. I love that about Vivi. He is someone who is completely open to looking at totally different sides of the map that most players would not even think about at this point in time. But he does have trebuchets coming down really quickly on him. And if we switch over to his point of view, he does have 1 ram only in that siege workshop, and this castle will go down as he's trying desperately to break through. He gets into Viper's base. We'll see exactly what Viper does in response. In response, he sends his entire army of 21 camel archers versus the 11 military of Vivi in the back of his base. And not much room for damage for Vivi. Viper has a pretty close-knit, tiny little economy going. This house does get up. Oh, the quick walls. That is devastating right there. And at the same time, camel archers in the economy of Vivi. He did take out the trebuchet, but these camel archers completely destroying the army of Vivi. And now Vivi only 45% of the way up to the Imperial Age. He will need to repair this castle, and is he looking to build another town center? We will see. Currently he is just getting stone in the back. He does have another castle in the back here. Rather than that castle, I don't really like that castle placement. It does protect the farms a little bit. I would have liked to see just maybe even a wall off here, then protecting a little bit somewhere else. But hey, I'm not the pro player. This trebuchet will be protected now from camel archers, and it doesn't look like 15 military is quite enough for Vivi to attack. And he is fully out of stone. Ballistics on the way for him. Interesting play for him. Ballistics, he doesn't have many ballistic using units other than his castle builders that are going to be attacking the enemy. And he drops immediately nothing. He's got nothing coming out as of yet. I'm not too sure what his plan is. I don't see any units being created. We do see Elite Coustillier as he goes forward, begins the attack, and let's see what kind of damage he can do with his big villager lead. Any villager that he does take out, he is replacing them faster than Viper is. And look at this pathing. That one villager, oh, those two villagers causing so much delay from that army. But you know what? Vivi was not able to really push his advantage at all. Instead, the Viper coming forward with 17 of his own villagers, and he will get this castle up on the hill. That will completely destroy the economy of Vivi as he's trying to clean up the military of the Viper in the back of his base, and every time he hits one of these, they just drop. And Vivi, not enough stone for another castle, and not really pushing the Imperial Age advantage now that he's in the Imperial Age as well. He does have the Elite upgrade. That is a good bonus. As you can see now, 11 plus 42. That is a disgustingly high amount. These Camel Archers will find the villagers who are going to be trying to hide in the back here. They don't stand a chance right now. He doesn't see what's coming to hit him. And they will go to start to build the town center, and surprise, they are done. So as you can see here, Vivi getting pushed more and more into a corner as Camel Archers are looping around on the other side. This little town that Vivi's got going on will be totally destroyed as this town over to the north crippled. Oh, just devastated. As the main army now of the Viper is coming to hit Vivi here. We do see a trebuchet coming out in defense from one of the castles. I thought I saw it. There it is. It just got produced. So Vivi is going to look to buy back a little bit of space as he is soon going to be out of wood space, farm space, and with all of these units here, gold space too. The Viper, such a good use of map control throughout this entire game. This castle placement, then this castle placement, and even this one after the initial gets destroyed. This trebuchet will go down before it can take out the castle of Vivi, which is very, very good. But so far what I'm seeing is Viper maybe figuring out a way in which top level players can interact with this new civilization that has often been written off as being too overpowered. Game's not over till it's over though. We do see right now this is a big one. Burgundian vineyards. This will change the game when you are playing as the Burgundians. The vineyards being such a powerful upgrade, and with all of these farms, that is going to collect a ton of resources. Vineyards are going through, and look at this gold count. Just like that, you don't see anyone collecting gold. Nope. But that gold count is going up. With all of these farms, that's 47 farmers, nobody on gold, but he is collecting gold through that upgrade, and that is huge because that gold will end, especially in a 1v1 Arabia. You run out of gold eventually. Luckily, he did collect quite a bit of this, but now Viper collecting over here, and Viper running pretty much out. He's got this gold at home. Oh, he does have this forward gold here that still has quite a bit. His main gold is gone though. And so I think the longer that this game goes on, if you're playing as the Burgundians, the longer the games go on, the better position you get into. Because you have these advantages in which you can collect where no one else can collect. It's similar to a Praetoria, except it's not taking up any population space. And it's using population we would have already been using. Oof. Those trebuchets go down, but this town center should go up. If the villagers would garrison, there we go. They are protected there. These units running right underneath the castle fire. Would have been better to run a little bit further south. But Vivi just looking to do damage where he can. Vivi does still have a 10 villager lead, and so that lead will help him out a little bit as he just completely drops multiple villagers here. This little town center down here still up, still collecting gold. Viper being taken off of these gold piles here. This gold pile in the back is still pretty full, so that is good. But I'm sure Vivi will look to attack the back pretty soon here. And Vivi not able to collect any of the regular gold just because of this one camel archer. Such a pain right behind there. And just every villager that goes forward, collects, dies. And the Viper misses this little tiny army of Vivi. I'm surprised at this point in the game that more relics haven't been collected. It looked like Vivi wanted to collect a relic, but was unable to because of this army. But this little military, just a couple in this wood line and a couple in the gold could be devastating right now, as the villager counts are getting pretty close between the two of them. And just one-shotting villagers left, right, and center. No big deal, no big deal. 11 plus 42, that is 53 attack. Insanity right there. That's going to take out any unit. I do like the graphics on these new units too, on the Elite Coustilliers, because of the swinging. It's interesting to see, right? But at this point in time, I think it's inevitable that the game is pretty much over for Vivi. The vineyards have helped out as much as possible, but he is almost out of wood on this side. His town center's destroyed here. Nowhere for him to collect wood, nowhere for him to build farms. His villager count is dropping like crazy as he tried to sneak another town center away here just to collect some wood, and I think that's it. These camel archers just so strong in mass and so difficult to engage against with melee units because of they're able to do, like I said, Mangadai, any of these fast moving camel archers or cavalry archers that can just hit and run, hit and run, hit and run. You can't even bring your military up close enough to engage. And Viper now with a massive military lead. Look at that, 63 military. And of course Vivi 26 villagers behind right now, 25. And he is dropping quickly. And this is a last ditch effort. The upgrade to convert all villagers to Flemish militia. I think most games that contain Burgundians will end with this, because it is such a big blow. If you can win, that's great. However, he now has 0 villagers. Literally 0 villagers. There's a 100 villager lead for the Viper. And let's see how strong these Flemish militia are. They are going to go straight for a castle. Not sure if it's the wisest use of military, but they're able to take out the castle pretty quickly. They will be destroyed by the camel archers. Obviously not enough there. 60 units there, and there are 6 camel archers attacking them, so that is not going to take very long. They will not do too much damage after this castle goes down, and they are infantry units, so they will not be able to catch up to camel archers. While I find that this addition of Flemish militia are interesting for sure, I just feel it's not a wise decision in 99% of the games that you'll see. And the GG's called. That is it, and that, my friends, is a little bit of a taste into what we can expect for negating the Burgundian advantage.